Hello there. Welcome to the Geekend Live. Coming from a slightly different environment to normal. I will come to that in a moment. I am Jamie, by the way. You are watching the Geekend. Hopefully, that's not come as a major surprise for many of you. But if it has, if you are in shock, if you have no idea what you've just stumbled into, then welcome to this here YouTube channel where we create content on Star Wars, Marvel, and more. And once a week on a Thursday, we go live and we just chat, really. It's a pretty interactive 30 minutes to 4 hours. You never quite know how long it's going to go on for, but very chat focused. If you're in the live chat, I will be there in a moment. And also, if you're in the future watching on the replay, I do respond to comments as well. So drop us a comment on anything that we discuss. Now, I will just say, having made that bold claim, that I'm a bit behind on comments from last week's stream, so I am going to catch up on them. But generally, I'm pretty good. It's pretty interactive, this channel. So in this week's Alleged Entertainment, we are going to talk about the following. J.J. Abrams and the Star Wars sequel trilogy, because it seems to be the same old thing stirring up again. So we will just talk about his recent comments on the sequel trilogy and its planning or lack of planning. It's kind of old news, but hey, slow news week in the Star Wars department, as far as I'm concerned. Want to ask you about the Eternals trailer as well, and also the news about Bond. The name is still Bond, we presume. But it's Amazon Bond. The name's Prime. Amazon Prime. Amazon buying MGM and what that means for the future of James Bond. So we'll talk about that. But let's go over to the chat. Let's see who's here. Glenn the Geeky Hippie and Chrome Dome were here early. Nice and early. Good evening to you, or good morning. I know it's morning where you are. Clays, hello, my friend. Welcome back. Also to Richard. Anders as well. I think the blank screen was only for a couple of seconds, right? Hopefully it's not a blank screen anymore. Some might say, please bring back the blank screen. What you've provided us with since is not as good. I'm sorry. Blank screen, probably preferable to this. Who else? Peter, my friend. Good to see you again. Who else? Simon D questioning my whereabouts. Now, okay, if you are new to this stream, this is not usually where I broadcast from. I usually broadcast from a shed, basically. I am on location. Hey, I'm on location. To be more specific, a secret location. Could it be a Death Star jail? It does have that kind of Imperial like vibe to it, doesn't it? I'm technically probably not supposed to be doing what I'm doing in the place that I'm doing it in right now. So that's the only reason why I'm going to call it a secret location. It's not actually very exciting at all. If you message me privately, if you're desperate to know, I'll tell you. But I think I probably shouldn't literally broadcast it, because technically, although I don't think anything would happen, technically I probably shouldn't be doing this here. But I am. And I even brought my mic. So I didn't let you down. Right, okay, who else is here? Pridonian, good to see you. Yeah, it's moving. It's moving. I hope it hasn't been frozen. Is that what you're saying? Has it been frozen? Oh, I've been frozen. Oh no. Is it okay at the moment? I hope it's okay at the moment. Live streaming, man. Am I freezing again? Like, I'm not cold, just to be clear. I'm not cold. It's freezing in terms of the picture, yeah? I might try another internet connection. Hang on a second. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. Doesn't sound good. I'm going to change the internet connection, all right? Bear with me a moment. Apparently you can hear me, Pridonian says, so I'm changing the internet connection. If you're watching in the future, skip forward. Probably for the best. So it might go off while I switch network. All right, everybody. I'm back. I'm back. Is this better? Hello. Hello there. Is this better? Let me know in the chat if it's better. Can you hear me? Pridonian, I can see you in the chat. Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? You can hear me, but can you see me? That's the question. I hope now you can see me. I don't have any of the chat from previous times, so we're starting afresh. Were there two Jamies? How were there two Jamies? I'm loving the gun ray. I'm loving the gun ray quoting there. Right, you can hear me as far as the Netherlands apparently, so this is good. But the picture isn't great. That's not good. All right, I'm sorry about that. But Nikolaki is saying I'm audible and visible, so I'll stick to this internet connection. You know what? It was better coming from a shed. It was better coming from a shed. So I apologize once again to everybody who has been affected, by this physically, emotionally, sexually. Who knows what you're up to? I can't see you. And also watching in the future as well. But we will get going by saying hello to Gaz Nottingham and also Custom Finland. Hello, mate. Can you say, you mean me, happy birthday to my friend Nick Gurr? Trying to make him feel special. And a little lol there. Yeah. I don't know if this is one of those Bart Simpson phone call things to Mo behind the bar, but I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care. And if it is really Nick's birthday, then I do hope you have a very good birthday, Nick Gurr. And I hope you now feel even more special than you surely did. Surely Custom Finland has already made you feel special enough. But happy birthday to you, mate. Right. Pridonian saying it's actually getting better now. You know what? If I did say where I was right now, you would be disgusted by how bad that internet was before, because it should be really good. There is no way that the shed should be providing you with a better experience, but it is. Next week, I'll be back in the shed. Don't you worry. Right. Okay. Looks like I can't put the comments on screen now. It's all going very well. But I can see them at the moment. All right. So assuming that everybody can still, okay, the comments are now back on screen. What is going on with this today? All right. I'm not frozen. I just stopped talking. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know if it's the internet. I don't know if it's StreamYard, the software that I use. Can you? All right. Is it Paul Bettany's birthday? I can see that from Simon D in the chat. I'm not going to be able to put the comments up on screen, it seems. There's a massive delay to me doing it, but you can see it. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, let's get on with some stories. All right. So what I'm going to do is go through the stories one by one, then come back to the chat and see what you guys think of it. First of all, I've got a question, though. Don't really need to share this screen, but I'm going to share it anyway because why not? Let's try and blow this thing completely up. All right, I'm not seeing anything that I'm doing on the screen right now, so I don't know if you can... Dale, hello, my friend. I don't know if you can see what's on the screen right now, but what I did have on the screen right now was Rotten Tomatoes, Army of the Dead. Has anyone seen Army of the Dead? I'm thinking of watching it over the weekend. Should I watch it? I mean, to be honest, I'm going to watch it anyway. I'm interested in reviews, but I don't usually let a review dictate my final decision. If I did, I would never have seen The Rise of Skywalker because I was quite late to seeing it. I read a lot of bad reviews, but of course, I still went to see it. Sige is here. Hello to you, mate. Again, I don't know if you can see the screen that I'm sharing at the moment. Can you see the screen? Are you seeing the Rotten Tomatoes screen at all? Man, this is really making life difficult. Oh, there we go. There's just a massive delay between what I'm trying to do and it actually actually happening. No, I don't want that. Guys, this is the worst stream ever. I can't believe 12 of you are still here. I'm sorry. Peter saying the Army of the Dead is a bit meh. Oh, man, what is going on with this screen? Right. I don't know where it's gone. But anyway, it was more just a question. There we go. Little screen there. That'll have to do. And also the Eternals trailer. I have to say, I am very I enjoyed this trailer a lot. And I come at Marvel stuff a little bit more, or a lot more casually than I do to Star Wars stuff. But I love the trailer. I think the cast is brilliant as well. We've got a future Star Wars connection, at least, with Kamal Nanjiani. Terrible at pronunciations. There's some British stars in there, like Gemma Chan, Richard Madden, Kit Harington. So a double Game of Thrones connection there. Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek. So big names. It's great to see Angelina Jolie in something like this, Marvel related. And yeah, I'm I don't come to Marvel having much comic book knowledge, but I enjoyed the trailer, and the premise interests me quite a lot as well. Here is one that I'm going to read. After an unexpected tragedy following the events of Avengers Endgame, the Eternals, an immortal alien race created by the Celestials, who have secretly lived on Earth for over 7,000 years, reunite to protect humanity from their evil counterparts, the Deviants. So yeah, sounds cool. And that is out in no. I'm off screen, but it'd be great to know what you guys think of Eternals. Anything I do in terms of what I'm clicking on right now, I'm not seeing. I don't know if you're seeing, but I think Gaz here is talking about Army of the Dead. Oh, there we go. That worked. Gaz is watching it tonight. Heard mixed reviews, but that never sways. Yeah, I mean, essentially, I'm not a movie critic, obviously, but essentially part of what I do with the YouTube channel is sometimes reviewing. And, I enjoy hearing other people's thoughts on movies, but again, I'll never let it sway me as well, because, movies, we all have our own tastes, don't we? We all have our own tastes in movies, music, comedians. So why let somebody else's taste dictate your taste? Glenn, the geeky hippie, Eternals had me excited, and I know nothing about them. I'm in the same camp as you, mate. Brydonian. This is what video conferencing used to be like 10 years ago, and also to this very day, apparently. Simon D doesn't really understand Rotten Tomatoes. I don't understand why it wasn't working, putting it on screen. But yeah, I mean, if you just want to sort of, collate a load of reviews together to get that percentage, then it's, if you like percentages, if you like averaging scores and all that, then I suppose it's useful. Cheese Whiz. Thoughts on the upcoming Rogue Squadron? Do you know what? I haven't really. Another thing I'm going to say about Eternals. I assumed Eternals was going to be a series when I first heard about it, and now I realize it's a movie for theatrical. I just feel like everything now, I just assume it's going to be a series. I mean, it could well be a series of movies, but you know what I mean. So when it comes to Star Wars, all I'm thinking about is the series at the moment. Kenobi, the ones we know a bit about, Kenobi, Andor, and also the ones we don't know a bit about, like the Acolytes, for example. So I haven't really given much thought to old Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron. But at the moment, I guess my Star Wars hunger and desire is with live action Disney Plus series. I'm looking forward to the Book of Boba more than I thought I would be, actually. Bring on more Mando, bring on the series I've just mentioned. But don't get me wrong. There'll come a point soon, I think, where I will be yearning for that Star Wars big screen, movie experience. And I think I'm right in saying that Rogue Squadron will be that first movie experience. My screen just went blank, so I don't know if it went blank for you. Did you just hear my my monologue about Rogue Squadron, Cheese Whiz? Hope you did, because it was, it was gripping stuff. Frogger, welcome. Yeah, we're not in the shed, but man, we wish we were in the shed right now, because believe it or not, broadcasting from a shed apparently is better than broadcasting from, all I'm going to say is, a meeting room, a company that should have really good internet. I'm not naming the company because I'm probably not supposed to be doing what I'm doing in this Death Star jail, as Simon D said. So I'm sorry. Vigo's looking after the shed in my absence. I'm just skipping down to make sure I'm still on. Can somebody let me know whether you can hear me now and see me now, and anything else? Do you know what? Usually I lose subscribers at least a dozen per stream, and I don't understand why normally, but I would completely understand if I do after this one. I'm really sorry for this bad internet. I lugged this microphone 200 miles. I mean, on a train, so I could still do the stream, but it's just not working. Okay, you can hear me and you can see me. Great. All right. Okay, so I rambled a bit about Rogue Squadron to answer Cheese Whiz's question. I am now going to bring up Bond. I know. Okay, so the audio is good, video not so much. I mean, the video is a little potato. All right, that's from Cheese. Cheese and potato. Right. Okay. Well, I'm just going to crack on. I'm going to put you out of your misery as soon as possible by cracking on. All right. Let's talk Bond. Sort of Bond. Anyway, I know Simon D's in the house, and he's a big Bond fan. No Time to Die spoilers, please. No, I haven't seen it. I can't spoil it. But we can, I think, without spoiling anything, talk about the future of Bond. Do you know what? It's good to be on a BBC website because you don't get a load of annoying pop-ups. But how can I make it bigger? No. There we go. That's the one. Yes, Cheese Whiz. Amazon have bought MGM. And okay, so Glenn is bringing up Glenn, don't poo-poo this story here. Don't bring all the legal and formal matters into it. Let's just say they bought it. I mean, okay, they've probably got to get through this process that you're referring to here. But let's just ignore that. Let's ignore that. So there was an assumption that after Amazon begun the process of purchasing MGM, that No Time to Die, which is how delayed is it now? How delayed? Was it meant to be early 2020? I can't remember now. Anyway, it's genuinely had about 3 or 4 different release dates. People then assumed after this news broke that it would go straight to streaming. And I imagine Simon's in the chat here. I imagine as a Bond fan, that's something that you would not want. You want your Bond, and you want your Bond on the big screen. But you don't need to worry, because as you can see here, James Bond to stay on the big screen after Amazon deal. So this is the deal. The giant tech have bought MGM in a purchase worth $8.4 billion US. That is 5.9 billion of the Queen's English pounds. Now, the Bond kind of heritage is keeping control, or at least a certain level of control, which I think Bond fans will be more at ease about. So Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson have stressed that this deal does not mean that The Spy would be pushed solely to Amazon's streaming service. This is a quote from them. "We are committed to continuing to make James Bond films for the worldwide theatrical audience," they said. And there was something else here. By the way, Broccoli is the daughter of original Bond producer Kirby Broccoli, and she and Wilson, this is it. They still have creative control of the character. So with the Amazon deal, MGM's share has now passed to the streaming giant, but Broccoli and Wilson will keep their tight grip over the suave secret agent who plays him and what direction the movies take. The pair have reportedly previously resisted attempts for him to appear in spin-off TV shows. So it says here as well, so Amazon will not have free reign to exploit the franchise with spin-offs in the way that, for example, the Star Wars universe has been expanded on Disney Plus. So I think that's good. I think that's good news. I couldn't imagine James Bond, young Bond spin-off series and what have you. I think Bond's place is on the big screen as theatrical releases. So I think I'm not a humongous Bond fan. I enjoy the Bond films. I like Daniel Craig. I liked Spectre. I didn't think Spectre was terrible. So I imagine that, hardcore Bond film fans like Simon, I'm imagining they will be, maybe they were a bit concerned when they first saw this news, but now are hopefully more at ease with it. Frogger says the last Bond movie he watched still had Pierce Brosnan in it. The last, do you know what? The last video game I played had Pierce Brosnan in it. GoldenEye. Oh, I used to love GoldenEye. Multiplayer mode. Anders here, looking forward to the next Bond movie. No time to give our employees a union. This is Pridonian on the Eternals trailer. Looks a bit dull, if I'm really honest. Big cast. It is a big cast, but I think I am already a bit burnt out on Marvel stuff again on the back of Wanda and Falcon series. Is that because I can't remember what you said about those series when we talked about them in the past. Is that because you've had too much in short space of time, or because you didn't like those series? This looks pretty different to both of those. Anything I've missed? I'm sorry. I'm working my way through as much as I can. Dale, in regards to, I think this is in regards to No Time to Die. The rumors are that they had to do a load of rewrites and reshoots for the new Bond film, as the plot involved the villains releasing a virus to create a pandemic. There was definitely, I think I'm guessing here, but I'm not guessing, but I think I remember. I'm guessing my memory, the quality of my memory here. I think they did use the first delay to go back. I think actually, do you know what? I think with the first delay with the pandemic, when they had that kind of time out of nowhere, and obviously the release being put forward so much, I think they actually had to reshoot some stuff because some of the like marketing within the film, would have been out of date, and obviously, watch brands will have their watch, their brand on the watch that James Bond uses, the cars, etc. So I think they actually had to go back for marketing purposes. I'm not making it up. I might be wrong, but I'm sure that was a thing that they had to do. Phil, my friend, Phil Hawkins says, hoping for some new Stargate out of this Amazon deal. Peter misses going out to the movies with friends and family. What is going to be the first film, as things stand, the first film that you get to go out and see, Peter? Skywalker Sound. Jamie is a pro gamer, confirmed. I probably have played a game since GoldenEye. I definitely have. But GoldenEye, childhood classic. Multiplayer mode was the bomb. N64 was peak console for me. That's probably why I retired. It just couldn't be bettered. Right. Our Pridonians come back to me. I enjoyed the Marvel TV series. I enjoy superhero stuff, but in limited periodic. This is fair enough. Right. That's enough of that. I'd just like to know that Simon's okay with this news about Bond. I just want to know he's okay. Can somebody check he's okay for me, please? Right, let's bring in another story, the final story, in fact, and then I'll put you all out of your misery. I'm sure, as Star Wars fans, where's it gone now? I'm sure, as Star Wars fans, you haven't missed the news about J.J. Abrams, who gave an interview to Collider. recently. I think it was promoting. Sorry, the page has gone missing. I'm just reloading it now. I think it was promoting like the anniversary of Super 8. Hey, Stanley Otter, welcome. It's doing a thing where it's going really slow. Just bringing in this page. Great, here's the page. So again, I think it's he's or something, and he's been on the press run, and of course, you know, Star Wars. Like anybody involved with Star Wars, even when you're not involved with Star Wars anymore, Star Wars is going to be involved with you. You're not going to be able to shake it off. People are always going to ask you questions about it. Sorry to break away because we have breaking news. Simon D is okay. He's fine, and he's still breathing and still typing. Panic over, everybody. And he said, I'm good with more Silence of the Lambs, Rocky expanded stuff, but not Bond. Single characters, single films is good for me. I agree. One more here on Bond from Dale. I was always confused why Daniel Craig's Bond owns the Goldfinger Aston Martin, as he clearly cannot be the same character as Sean Connery's Bond due to his age. That might be something Simon can explain to us. So, Frog has summed this up already. It's a kind of no story, really. There is no surprise. J.J. Abrams has discussed, you know, the importance of having a plan when making a series of movies. As an aside, I think in another interview, he also said recently that he's going to stick to original content. He doesn't want to touch any more, existing franchises in terms of directing. Thank you for allowing that little sip of coffee there. But anyway, in this interview, J.J. Abrams reflects on Star Wars and when it's critical to have a plan. This is on Collider by Adam Chitwood. I've got a few things to say about this, and I want to know what you guys think, but let's just find the key quote. Amongst all of the adverts. Where's the quote? What are you doing to me, internet? What are you doing to me, Collider website? There was a big quote earlier. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. I will read this out. Are you ready? I've been involved in a number of projects that have been, in most cases, series that have ideas that begin the thing where you feel like you know where it's going to go. And sometimes it's an actor who comes in. Other times it's a relationship that, as written, doesn't quite work. And things that you think are going to just be so well received just crash and burn. And other things that you think like, oh, that's a small moment, or that's a one-episode character, suddenly become a hugely important part of a story. I feel like what I've learned as a lesson a few times now, and it's something that especially in this pandemic year, working with writers, has become clear. The lesson is that you have to plan things as best you can. And you always need to be able to respond to the unexpected. And the unexpected can come in all sorts of forms. And I do think that there's nothing more important than knowing where you're going. Now, just generally, I absolutely agree with that. I'm not talking specifically about Star Wars at the moment, but generally, I think with anything like this, not that I've ever, made a movie, but I think it is important to have a plan. Just goes without saying. But equally, I think it's important to have that flexibility that he talked about there. So maybe no A to Z. Maybe know your start point and your end point, but perhaps have some room to wiggle, have a little wiggle in the middle. Like obviously completely different, but I do interviews, and I plan for my interviews, out of respect for who I'm interviewing. I'll do research, but I don't script my interviews. I plan them in the sense I'll have bullet points and key things I want to cover, key things that I'm never going to remember, like dates and figures and whatever else. But I will never plan the interview like a script. I will have the key points I definitely want to cover, but at the same time, I'll leave room to be flexible, because sometimes in an interview, it's so difficult to listen, just for me, perhaps, but it's difficult to listen sometimes carefully to the person that you're talking to, because you're thinking about your next question. But it's really important to try and listen to what they're saying, because that tangent that might be inspired by what they're saying, could actually be better than anything you planned. So I always leave room to go off on a tangent in the interview, but at the same time, the bullet points are there to try and bring me back on track and get the satisfactory ending the interview needs. And again, with movies, I think just goes without saying, have some sort of plan, especially when it's a trilogy, 3 movies, just in case you weren't sure what I meant by that mysterious word, trilogy. There. Jane Flakes, I can see, is here. Hello to you, Jane Flakes. So, no shock here. But I want to say 2 things about this interview. J.J. Abrams does not mention Star Wars anywhere here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I cannot see any mention of Star Wars. Now, if you read the article, it's framed like he was asked this question in regards to Star Wars, but I find it a bit odd that he's not referenced Star Wars once in his answer. So I'm wondering if the question was actually asked in a more vague way, and if he's therefore responding generally as a filmmaker as opposed to specifically about his Star Wars experience. Now, obviously, there's still a connection there because it's no secret. It is no secret, as Frogger said, there was not a plan for the sequel trilogy. People have admitted that to us already. I, on this channel, have a very short clip with Rian Johnson where he said to me, I asked him the question after seeing The Last Jedi. I said, what was the handover process like between you and JJ? And he essentially said there wasn't one. He essentially said, it was like, here's the baton, run off and play, do your own thing. So we know there wasn't a plan. There's nothing shocking here, but I don't think there had to be a completely detailed plan. I just think you needed to get it started, and JJ did a good job getting it started, for all the Force Awakens familiarity, with A New Hope, in terms of certain beats, but at the same time, it was a good setup, to bring back old fans, to introduce new fans. They introduced some really potentially interesting new characters with Rey and Finn, particularly. Snoke was mysterious in The Force Awakens. Kylo Ren was fairly interesting in The Force Awakens, and I feel like he got more interesting actually beyond anyway. But that middle almost didn't need too much of a plan, but it needed to at least link into the final film. I feel like you needed to know where Rey ended up. You needed to know where Kylo ended up, where Snoke ended up, because we know Palpatine was not planned to be the big bad at the end of episode 9. So, it didn't need a full-on plan. I'm sure George Lucas, I know he always says that he had all these films planned out, but I'm sure he only had a few dots there, a few bullet points, the dots weren't joined. Surely, in fact, he made changes between, Star Wars and A New Hope. People make changes all the time. Vince Gilligan planned on killing off Jesse in season 1 of Breaking Bad. He survived the whole thing. He got a spin-off movie afterwards, so you have to have that flexibility, which J.J. Abrams talked about. I actually personally think, let me know what you think, guys. I'm coming over to the chat in a moment. I personally think that actually Rian Johnson... Okay, look, the sequel trilogy has problems. I don't love everything about the sequel trilogy. I think it's got some amazing moments. I'm far happier to have had the sequel trilogy than not to have had it. But I actually think Rian Johnson... I don't think The Last Jedi is the problem. The problem is such, I feel like it was actually an interesting response to The Force Awakens. Maybe not the response everybody wanted, maybe not the most ideal response, but it was a really interesting response. It was actually The Rise of Skywalker that didn't follow The Last Jedi. It was The Rise of Skywalker that actually retconned a fair few things from The Last Jedi. So in some ways, that JJ kind of created the disjointedness of the sequel trilogy, not Rian Johnson. I think it's easier to, because The Last Jedi was such a different Star Wars film, it's easier to, lay the blame at his door for that, But actually, for me, he took it off in an interesting direction, and it was JJ that retconned, and I think JJ was trying to appeal to fans that enjoyed The Last Jedi and also didn't hated The Last Jedi, and I don't think that's a balance that was ever going to be successfully achieved. Right, I'm coming over to the chat then. Stanley, I know you. Yeah, from Peter here. J.J. Abrams, the short version is we did a trilogy without a plan. It's true. Simon D, have you heard they've stopped Star Wars Rangers series production now? Probably Carano drama based. Yeah, Gina Carano, Cara Dune. I don't know if they weren't in production, were they? I think it was in pre-production. But I've heard that, yeah. I mean, I assume she was the lead. I think we always assumed that she was going to be the lead of the Rangers of the New Republic show. So I don't know if it's off forever or if it's just been like shelved. But yeah, we can only assume it's down to, as you said, the Gina Carano drama. Yes, Glenn, it does seem that J.J. Abrams understands what a plan is. Brydonian, JJ should have used the plans for the Death Star instead. Jane Flakes, as I mentioned, is here. Not quite about to end soon. No, Jane, to be honest, you missed nothing. You missed a lot of freezing. A lot of freezing. A lot of heartache. It's not been a smooth one. But thank you for sticking with me, everyone who's still here. And don't forget to hit that like button. Cheese Whiz, it's like JJ blatantly wants to say sorry straight to the camera, but can't. There were no excuses. At least he sees the fault, or at least we hope. Do you know what? I feel like JJ knew he made a film that was going to divide people. Because let's be honest, The Rise of Skywalker divided fans not as much, but it still divided fans like The Last Jedi did. I think that's fair to say. And I feel like he knew that because in a lot of the interviews he was giving up to the release, he was almost apologizing. He was almost setting us up to be maybe disappointed. In a lot of the interviews, he was saying, not everybody's going to like this film. I know not everybody's going to like this film, and that's okay. Yeah, Glenn's confirming you didn't miss much unless you enjoy frozen pictures. Yeah, yeah, I mean, well, Colin Trevorrow had an idea as well. Don't forget, JJ wasn't even supposed to be there for episode 9. Trevorrow was there. So, I don't attack Lucasfilm or Disney, and I'm not anti them at all. And I understand that, things happen that force you to go in certain directions when you're making something that there's most often not a really good reason for that we, as the consumers, don't know about. But at the same time, it was clearly a bit messy, with the whole Trevorrow thing as well. If I've missed anything, drop it back into the chat. I'm working my way through, but I don't know what's going on with this computer tonight and the internet. I don't know if my computer being slow, not responding to what I'm doing is to do with the internet. Probably not. Right. Sige. JJ's whole style is very much about creating emotional and nostalgic feelings. He rates it above continuity. Lost, for example. Yeah, I agree with that. And he was very good with The Force Awakens. Like I said before, he was very good at kind of rekindling that old Star Wars nostalgia and bringing in, newbies as well, new fans with the new characters. Simon D on Bond continuity in the Bond series was basically I think you're answering Dale's question from earlier, are you? But anyway, it was basically screwed up since the second film in 1963. Sige is now at his band rehearsal. Have a good one, mate. Frogger. No, that's not Frogger. That's Glenn, which I'll come back to in a moment. The Last Jedi still has my least favorite part is still my least favorite part of the trilogy. Snoke's demise and the annihilation of the Crimson Guard by a rookie and Kylo is just a big disappointment. I have to admit, I was like a lot of people shocked that they killed off Snoke so soon when we just met him. Really, I think that was the tricky situation Rian Johnson left for JJ. Because the big bad had essentially been taken out. So obviously they were looking to fill that hole and brought Palpatine back. As much as there's so much about The Last Jedi I do like, I think, I think the Snoke thing I would have, what do I know, but I probably personally would have kept Snoke in as the big bad throughout the trilogy. Peter's gone. Hope you're okay, my friend. And yes, I will do my best to escape from this cell of bad internet connection. Glenn is defending Rey, saying she was no rookie. She's been fighting since childhood. Frogger adds, with a staff. Cheese Whiz is here. Trevorrow or whatever had a thick concept art for his script. Yeah, I saw that. I saw some of that, and it did look pretty cool. I didn't read the scripts. I saw, like, their actual parts of his scripts were they leaked or they were posted online, weren't they? I didn't read them, but I read some like excerpts, and I'm not sure I was that into it. But some of that concept art looked great. I love concept art. Just putting it out there. Jane Flakes, Luke being married to Mara Jade was something I would have liked to have seen. Mara Jade was an awesome character. I've seen, like, when you log into YouTube and you get the homepage and it throws things at you that it thinks you might want to watch. And I've said this recently as well, Star Wars, it's always angry thumbnails. But I've seen something recently about thumbnails about Brie Larson potentially playing Mara Jade, because there are strong rumors that we're going to get a lot more Luke in one form or another. Don't know what you guys think about that. Would that make up for it, Jane? If you got some Luke and Mara Jade action elsewhere? Glenn the Geeky Hippie, losing Mara Jade is one of the few things I regret about losing the old canon. Very few things. Well, if these rumors are true, probably Mike Zero, rumors are true, then she might be back in canon. Nikolaki is on his way to band rehearsal. Hey, are you in Sidge in the same band? Hope you have a good one anyway. It's good to see that normality is returning to people's lives. I mean, it means I have less people on the stream with me, but it is good. It's warming to see that normality is back for some. Cheese Whiz, is the Mandalorian series going to take place right where we left off with Bo-Katan and Moff Gideon and the Darksaber? Well, I mean, they certainly, everybody was talking about Luke, weren't they, going off with Grogu? But they've certainly left a lot of questions that need answering, like the ones you've mentioned, Bo-Katan, Din, the Darksaber. What happens to Moff Gideon? He's obviously been arrested. Is he going to be the central Empire figure? Moving on, does he escape? Does he have influence in the court so he gets let free, Newt Gunray style? So there's a lot of big questions to be answered there. I'm not sure if it will take place right from the ending of season 2, literally picking up with what happened when Luke left on the ship. I don't think there'll be a huge time jump, to be honest. There could be, but without the crawl, to bring us back up to speed, I'm not sure how that would work. It worked with series 1 going into series 2. We didn't really need to know how much of a time jump there was and what happened in between, because it was pretty much the same quest. But obviously, there's all of these dangling threads that you've mentioned, Cheese Whiz, here. So we kind of either need to start I think we need to start really close to where it finished, or they need to bring back the crawl to bring us up to date. Richard, the sequel trilogy was ruined for me when they gave Akbar the worst death ever. Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen my interview with Tim Rose. He said that they actually shot a much more spectacular death scene, which Akbar deserved. But obviously, I don't think that was a decision to cut out of disrespect on purpose towards Mr. Akbar. I think it was probably just down to the edit, and a creative decision, if you like. But yeah, Akbar deserved more. I do agree with that. It didn't ruin the sequel trilogy for me, but I do agree he deserved more. My computer hasn't blown up yet, so let's just do these final comments. Simon D, I heard that Lucas and Kurtz had a falling out about Revenge of the Jedi. Changes in tone in pre-production. Luke's sister wasn't Leia, and Kurtz wanted a more bittersweet finale. Yeah, and I think he was kind of not really happy about the Ewoks, and the kind of focus on marketing, in terms of creating characters that will sell on toy shelves. Yeah, I really regret not being able to do a full interview with Gary Kurtz. I spent some time with him and got a few little kind of tidbits of trivia and nostalgia, but it was more Empire Strikes Door focused. I really wish I did a more all-encompassing interview with him about that, because he's been pretty open, hasn't he, about the falling out between him and Lucas. Dale's expecting Vader to walk into my cell with a torture droid any second. Yeah, I'm anxious. Jane Flakes is all in for Luke and Mara Jade. Pridonian here. What's he saying? I think the original Star Wars concept art is some of the most iconic in cinema history. Early Vader with his laser sword is stunning. Glenn the Geeky Hippie, meanwhile, thinks or hopes that Mando will pick up where it was left. I agree. Not literally in the moment, but not too soon. Not too much after. Wow. Simon D would probably prefer James Corden to play Mara Jade over Brie Larson. That is quite a statement. Glenn, Gideon won't have any influence. I think he was already supposed to have been executed. It'd be interesting then who is the new kind of Empire main figure. And can Mando put his helmet back on? Yeah, I think we're going to see a new Din, aren't we? A new dawning for Din. I think there's going to be less helmet time. Frog. Frogger is agreeing with Simon. I think about James Corden. Yes, R.I.P. Admiral Akbar. Yeah, Dhruv Changchani is the name of the actor for Kitster from episode 1. Maybe he's willing to be interviewed for These Are the Actors You're Looking For. Yeah, do you know what? He did some stuff at a Star Wars show a few years ago. And I've looked him up, and he's not that easy to contact online. He's got a kind of one very private profile I found on Instagram. I think it's him. But I'm going to try. I haven't actually contacted him through it yet, but I am going to try. Yes, Richard, I am on Death Star 3. Hey, David. Good to see you here right at the end, my friends, but it's good to see you always. I hope the project you've been working on is going well. You've not missed much of a stream. There's been all sorts of technical stuff. Jane, don't worry. We're gonna wrap up in a moment. But thank you for joining us. And yeah, let's. I guess let's wrap up. Is there anything that I've missed? To be honest, I didn't have any notes today, and I'm just scared to click on anything. To be honest, I'm not even going to click on the Patreon thing that I put up normally, because I just feel like an explosion is about to happen. It is a Death Star after all. It is a Death Star. They do tend to explode. So I'm just going to say thank you to all Patreon members, and thank you to everybody as well for watching and putting up with all of the glitches, the technical glitches. Awful stream tonight. I'm sorry. Simon D, technically Death Star 4. Yeah, JJ ripped off the ripoff. But then have you seen the size of Starkiller Base compared to the Death Star? It was clearly pointed out the difference between the two to us in that film. Crosby, hey up, Jamie. Haven't been attending the streams as of late. That's okay. You've been on a researching trip. Sounds interesting. Happy to say you have found and confirmed many actors. Cool, man. That sounds really interesting. Let me know. I mean, maybe you can't let me know. But sounds cool. And don't worry for missing the streams. We'll be here every week. You know, it's all pretty chill. David, if you are going to go back and catch up, maybe skip the first 20 minutes or something. Right, everybody. Yes, David. You know, David, what a legend. Turns up and delivers the most important piece of information. It's a request. Don't forget to smash that like button, people. All right, everyone. I think I've covered everything. If I haven't, you've got 10 seconds to copy and paste it back in the chat. But we have talked Bond. We have talked Eternals. We have talked JJ. We've talked all sorts about Star Wars, really, off the back of that JJ thing. Pridonium, don't worry too much about the technical issues with visuals. We've had just as fun in the chat as any other week. Great. Thank you. I'm glad it didn't completely destroy the experience. Maybe me not being on screen is actually the way. Maybe that's an improvement on the experience. Crosby, in fact, I've just received an email from Laurie Good, who helped me confirm the appearance of actor Giles Melville. Send my regards to Laurie, my old friend. All right, so I will be back in the shed. Is it really Paul Bettany's birthday? If it is, I dare someone to send him a chicken Caesar salad. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't get the reference, then it's a long story, but I'll tell the story again sometime. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, it's Tarkin, man. Grand Moff meddling Tarkin with that internet connection. I will be back in the shed on Monday for the chat batch, where we'll look back on the Bad Batch episode that comes out tomorrow. Yeah. So we'll be back in the stream in the shed on Monday and also next Thursday. This was a one-off. If anybody really wants to know where I am, you can message me. I will tell you. It's just I probably shouldn't broadcast it. All right, then. Thank you, everybody. Take care, and may the force be with you. Why not? All right, I'm going now. Goodbye. Take care. See you on Monday.